Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. That's going good. All right, now we're gonna start this here. 3, 2, 1. All right, I am live. I am 11 minutes tardy, but I'm here. So Islam. We are here. Well, I'm gonna say Islamism. We are here. For 30 minutes, more or less. I am Sister Tahita S. Najee-Ullah L. of CalifaMedia.com, MercyCharities.org and com, RiseOfTheMoors.org and com, and most recently certified Moorish.org and com. So I'm welcome again to my weekly Friday roundup where I try to keep the Moors updated on what I'm into and maybe inspire y'all to get into some stuff too, right? So brief introduction of what I'm gonna get into this evening. Let's see. So the topics tonight are: can't keep a determined man down. Of course, I got my notes because why? I respect your time. Oh, let me turn this light on because I'm like, why is it so dark up in here? Yeah, that's like monumentally better. Wow, yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, like I was saying, can't keep a good man down, a determined man down. Unity is key and vital. What does the DNA say? / here we go again, and cast them out. Part 2, Senegal Edition. All right. So before I get into that, let me, okay, cat just jumped on my printer. Let me handle that real quick. Get out. This is my son's cat, Dan. His name is Dan. This ain't my cat. This is my son's cat. He's very bad. All right. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So this week, weekly announcements. Moorish Meetup. T-minus what, a week? Is it? Yup, T-minus a week from today. I will be in New York City, or actually I'll be staying in Newark this upcoming next Friday, July 25th through July 26th. Moors will be retracing the steps of the noble prophet Drew Ali in Newark, New Jersey, and Harlem, New York. We'll be touching on sites. And praise Allah, I was talking to our beacon out there, Brother Shamar, and he confirmed that yes, the spots that you picked to visit are in the hood. I'm like, that's exactly where I want to go. I don't want the tourist stuff. I want the hood because usually that's where our people are, right? And usually that's where you can find the most authentic experience of the area. So he actually gave me some tips on where to stay, transportation, and some other things. And that will be updated on the website because it's quite a bit of it. So I don't want to get into it here and I don't have it with the notes with me. But that'll be on riseofthemoors.org/NYC. So you can go there and you can see all the itinerary, everything we got planned. And the plan is extremely flexible because stuff happens. I was telling the brother, when we went out to Arizona, the plan was, let's go to the beach at 10 a.m. and then go hiking at noon. That would have worked if it wasn't 100 degrees at 10 a.m. So we had to scrap the beach and proceed. I hope y'all can hear me because this mic, it's not the best quality, but it's whatever. But so we had to scrap the beach and go straight to the hike before noon. It's 10 o'clock and it's already 100 degrees. What is it going to be like at noon? That's why I say that the schedule is incredibly flexible. And in that spirit, I will be signing up for a tracker for my phone for this event. So, it's a meetup. There's a few venues we'll be stopping at. You don't have to be at the whole thing the whole time. You can drop in, drop out, right? And you'll be able to see where we are when by accessing this tracker, which I will be uploading to riseofthemoors.org/NYC this weekend. All right. So that's that. All right. Next. 508 Inc. course coming soon. Because Moors, thank you again for your support, because this 508 Inc. thing is timely. Because I don't know, it's like it's like if you ever seen what's that show? A Wonderful Life. That I think it's from the 40s or the 50s. It's a movie, Christmas movie. And every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. I'm thinking every time a Moor starts a business, not even necessarily through what I'm trying to do. Every time a Moor starts a business, another business, or probably 10 businesses, crash in the United States. This place is going down. It's like it's circling the rim on the reel. There's like not much left. So I'm encouraging Moors to get their stuff straight. And a lot of them I'm seeing, they want to do it and they're excited and they got the initiative. They don't know what to do with it once they have it though. So I'm coming across Moors who will access the toolkit to set up their business, but don't know anything about business. Not like how to run one. You're probably a hustler. That's not the part I'm talking about. I'm talking about keeping track of your paperwork and keeping that straight. So there is a 508 course coming up because I mentioned this last week. I need to show my son how to do this stuff. He's about to be 16. He's a homeschooler. He knows he's a Moor. He's been a Moor his whole life, right? So this is no baby stuff. This is like, no, I'm going to talk to you like an adult because I'm not raising children. I'm raising adults, all right? So you can join in. That'll be a course coming ASAP. I was actually working on it today because Moors have been contacting me with their questions. And I have compiled all of those transcripts into a single transcript with okay, what's the theme? What questions are coming up? Because I want to turn this into a class. And that's coming ASAP. All right. Because after that, on the heels of that, I will be showing y'all how to run an ecclesiastical trust. Because I finally got mine done. Because I actually talked to Brother Reggie-L. I hope he's in here. I probably talked to Brother Reggie-L. We went in talking about the trust and all that stuff and came to the conclusion that Moors, the issue may be that Moors, myself included, are overthinking the whole trust thing. I am like, statutory to me is like cake, right? Here go the parameters, here go the limitations. All the rules are laid out for you. Trust is a little trickier because the state is there if you can't run your own business. It's like probate. You didn't write a will, so now the court has to decide who gets what because you didn't take care of your business yourself. So why not make a contract with yourself? And I'm just like giving an overview because I'm just like, I can't believe it took me, and I've been working on this thing since, I want to say April. As soon as I released the 508 toolkit, I started working on this. So I'm like, nope, I want the trust version of this. Right. And I started working on it like late March, early April. And I just got done with it. All right. And because I wasn't confident and I've been asking around and I'm getting like confirmation all over the place. But anyway, you're basically making you are making a contract with your trust. Or no, your trust is the contract. OK, so you're making a contract called a trust. If this was statutory, you're the business owner. Right. And the state is, I guess, the trustee saying, okay, based on I guess you're the trustee of oh my God, you're the trustee of your own business because the state is granting you permission to use their stuff to set up an incorporation or whatever, really, right? And then based on their parameters, you're allowed to do certain things. You'll be the state. You have as much right to set up your own state. It's not, and we were talking about it. It's not even a state. It's an estate. That S, esoterically, S equals breath. Okay, so that state is a dead entity. Your estate, who has more legitimacy in this process, setting up a contract where individuals operate in a certain parameter and property is controlled, maintained, and distributed in a certain way. That's what the state does if you don't do it for yourself. I see somebody is trying to get in. I will let you in as soon as I'm done if you can just hold on. So I just want to cover this. So this course is coming ASAP, the 508 Incorporation Course, because I find people, I don't know, I don't care why, I'm just going to roll with it. it's easier to follow rules that are in place, even if they're not the real rules, and even if they're like not legitimate, blah, blah, blah. So let's study the statutory stuff so you can see how you can move organically. All right. So that'll be coming soon. First, it'll be the same process. First, I'll release the trust. And then for the people who know how to use it, and then that'll be followed by the course on that, right? Because Moors need to get their estates in order. This trust ain't about, I'm not even necessarily trying to get you paid. I'm trying to get you protected, because the more, I hope Reggie is in here. I can't see who's in here. He brought up how they coming after everybody. This country is broke, yet they keep spending money, right? Because that makes sense. So in order to fund their dastardly deeds, they've run out of money. They have mortgaged like the next, 20, 30 generations at this point. Oh, they're just kicking it down to the next generation. They've been saying that since I was a child. All right. So in order to fund that, there's no one else to come after. So they're going to be coming after the people right now, not the future generations. So if you are the lowest form of incorporation, aka the individual, they coming after your stuff. And the best way to not have your stuff taken is to follow the wisdom of Charles Schwab. You'll own nothing and love it, or you'll own nothing and enjoy it, whatever he said. But basically he said you'll own nothing and enjoy it. I'm just like, yeah, I'll own nothing but control everything. That's what a trust is, all right? Think of yourself as royalty. I'm telling y'all need to start getting into those period dramas where you saw the Europeans walking through their courts, just talking to each other with all the intrigue. It really teaches you how to run your business, for real. All right, so, and I'm doing this with the focus that Moors need to be able to confidently establish and run their business as Moors. Because you're gonna get tested. I've moved past being tested just because of how I come off, how I present myself, right? I smile. And the way I say it, it's like, today is Tuesday. And today actually is Tuesday. And folks leave you alone. But as you're getting into it, you have to build that aura. You will be tested. And that's what this is going to be there for. All right. So now to the weekly news. All right. Again, can't keep a determined man down. Unity is key and vital, right? What does the DNA say? / here we go again. And cast them out. Senegal Edition. So first, can't keep a determined man down. All right. So federal inmate Gregory Holt, that's the name he was convicted under, but the name he operates under is Abdul Malik Muhammad. He sues Arkansas over alleged retaliatory prison transfer. So it says Gregory Holt, who won a U.S. Supreme Court fight for religious beard rights in 2015. So the man got experience suing the courts, right? So he won the right to have his beard based on religious freedoms. And he's now suing Arkansas officials again. He claims his transfer to a federal prison in West Virginia was retaliation for pursuing civil rights lawsuits against the state. The complaint alleges he's been denied hygiene, religious services, and legal access, hoping to discourage further litigation. So we're going to give you a reason to sue us to stop you from suing us. The cave beast is raging. All right. Hate is blinding. All right. So Holt argues the transfer violated due process and targeted his advocacy. Arkansas says it will vigorously defend his the move to another prison. So I just bring that up because this man is locked up. He's in Arkansas. It's bad enough walking around free in Arkansas. I can't imagine being locked up in Arkansas. That sounds like, no, you ain't got to say nothing. We can imagine. So if he can do it, what you doing, right? And I said that can't keep that determined man down, because even though he's fighting, I'm wondering where they're trying to transfer him to if he's trying to fight being transferred. I'm guessing it's much worse. And he ain't having it. He's not having it. He's like, yeah, you got me, but you ain't going to get me, if that makes any sense. All right. And I look at it, it's like, man, I don't know if I want to do it, but I'm just like, I should see if I can help this man. But I don't know. Right? Because he's not part of anything I got going on. And I got too much going on right now. So my thing is, sorry, if you aren't part of my tribe type of thing, Or you don't know somebody who is, one of those things. But it's like, dang, unity. There's that unity part. But I don't know. I might have to check this out because, ooh, that sounds like something to get into. I don't need nothing from you. I just like watching these crackers lose. All right. Even if I get that. I get the pleasure. There we go. That's my payment. So next one. Wait. So that's the key. The can't keep a man down. All right. Unity is key and vital. Y'all gonna like this one. So today is July 18th. This little piece of news happened on July 15th. A few days. So that was this past Tuesday. They picked a good day to do this. Tuesday is usually the best day to file a lawsuit, right? So all of this, everything I'm about to tell y'all happened on Tuesday. What happened? Let me see. Was there any like strange planetary movements? Nope. It looks like it was a good day. So, Moorish Science Temple of America files federal suit in Georgia. Okay? On July 15th, 2025, the Moorish Science Temple of America and related organizations filed suit you're going to trip when you hear the related organization part. I'm going to get into detail with that. They filed suit in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Georgia against the United States of America Corporation and state/federal entities. So far, so good. You can do that. The filing rooted in sovereign citizens. This is what I asked ChatGPT. Can you find some state, federal, and county litigation that the Moors might be interested in? Because I just want to know what's going on. Listen to the radio and watch the newspapers, right? So anyway, the filing rooted in sovereign citizen ideology demands undefined relief under unspecified statutes. I had to get into that, and you're going to chirp when I tell you what I found.
Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that this message may be spread widely to assist in our mission to normalize Moorish.
Again, the filing, rooted in sovereign citizen ideology, demands undefined relief under unspecified statutes. If you're Moor, you probably sitting there like, what? Huh? Yeah, you heard me right if you're doing that. The case was immediately terminated. The docket was closed the same day. It signals renewed legal organization by Moorish institutions, which may set the stage for future jurisprudence if refiled. So, some Moors in Georgia filed a federal lawsuit against the United States and various state and federal entities. Check. You good, right? And then the part that caught my attention was the sovereign citizen thing. Not as Moors. Undefined release and unspecified statutes. What? What is this? So I went and I found it. I found the filing, right? So I'm going to tell you why it flopped. And it should have flopped. I'm glad it flopped. All right. So this case was styled the Moorish Science Temple of America et al. Versus the United States Corporation Company et al. Okay. Plaintiff, Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Divine and National Movement, and the Consulate of the United States for the Moroccan Empire. Okay, there's the sovereign crap. How you gonna have a consulate on your own land? Even if you do have a foreign entity operating on your land, they need a consulate, not you. Unless you're recognizing them as the holders of this land. Anyway, the defendant is the United States of America Corporation Company. I've never heard of the Corporation Company. Okay. The state of California, which is weird because it's a Georgia case, but fine, diversity of jurisdiction. U.S. Attorney General, Social Security Service, Department of Defense, and the Attorney General. It doesn't say which Department of Defense, and it does not say which Attorney General. All right. So I'm like, no big deal. You can always fix that on as you go along. And it's filed in the U.S. Court, Northern District of Georgia. So why was this thing opened and closed the same day? Why didn't they even tell these people? Excuse me. Okay, so you're suing as the temple, right? Fine, whatever. You can't sue the state because of immunity. And the United States, you got to cite whoever's sitting in the exact seat of the exact department that you're suing or the exact entity, right? But you can fix that. So why did they throw it out the same day they filed it? Don't make this mistake. Please learn from their mistake, okay? I'm not making fun of them. I'm just presenting this as, hey, benefit from the mistakes of others so you don't have to go through this. So I'm looking at the docket text. So it says, in order of all the events that occurred with this thing, filing 1. Notice of filing documents by Consulate of the United States for the Moroccan Empire. Consulate of the United States for the Moroccan Empire. I think I see what you're trying to do, but you didn't do it right. Not even because of the name part. It's a notice. Can somebody put in here what it was supposed to be? It wasn't supposed to a notice. How do you start a lawsuit? Okay, so their filing was a notice of filing documents by the Consulate of the United States for the Moroccan Empire, Moorish Divine National Movement, Moorish Science Temple of America, and the attachment was a civil cover sheet. Do you hear anything that's missing? Can somebody put it up in the chat, please? What's missing from this? That's it. I read everything they filed. What's missing? They filed a notice. What's missing from this complaint? One word. Can y'all say it? I'm going to continue. So then after they filed it, the next thing entered on the record is filing fee paid $52. $52? Last time I filed a federal suit was 2014. And it was $400 in California. $52? And then the entry after that is miscellaneous case terminated. So did anybody come up with it? Because I'm about to give y'all the answer. What was missing from this case? And that's why it got filed and terminated the same day. They filed a notice. They never filed a complaint. Without a complaint, there's no controversy. Notice of what? You're in court trying to sue somebody. You first have to start a complaint. Then you can put in your notices, your subpoenas, depositions, affidavits, all that good stuff, right? Motions. But you don't start a lawsuit with a notice. You can send a notice to whoever you're suing, and if they don't respond, then you use that notice attached to your complaint. So please learn from their mistakes, because it's like, and then it says this opens, at least they tried. I don't know who this is because it has consulate in it. And it's like, well, the $52 thing, which is so funny, 52. That should have been a clue, like, why is it only $52? And they took your money and then shut your case down. Anyway, moving on. So that's that. Learn from their mistakes. Don't do that. All right. Maybe we should start putting that together, like mock courts and legal clinics, so Moors can learn how to, like, I'm not going to, like, help you do it, but at least know how to write it up, that kind of thing. Don't be embarrassing us. So number 3, get on with this thing so I can get to what I really want to talk about. The court blocks the Trump administration passport restrictions for trans and non-binary Americans, right? And this is the one I call, what does the DNA say? Here we go again. So what does the DNA say? So I'm going to read what they have. In Orr versus Trump, the ACLU challenged Executive Order 14168, which altered passport gender marker policies. In April 2025, Judge Julia Kobik issued a preliminary nationwide injunction. This is a district judge. How many times are these people going to have to get checked? You are a district judge. You can pass rulings for your district. You cannot do it for the entire nation. All right? I'm not sure what makes, maybe I'm missing something. I need to look that up because it must be something I'm missing because this is the third one I'm finding in 3 weeks. All right. So anyway, in April 25, Judge Julia Kobik issued a preliminary nationwide injunction finding the policy rooted in animus and violating equal protection and due process. On June 17th, she expanded it to a class action. I guess she expanded it to a class action after Trump versus CASA didn't work for that one person. So they expanded their mess to a class action too. So I guess we're about to see some stuff. So she expanded it to a class action, halting the X marker ban for all applicants. The order remains in effect despite government appeals. This is a landmark ruling for gender equality and administrative law. Gender equality. So we have males, that's why I said, what would the DNA say? If you were to take an anonymous or blind DNA test, sir, with your lovely wig, your gorgeous makeup, and your beautiful plastic enhancements, all right? If I was to take a drop of your blood and put it under a microscope and tell me boy or girl, what would it say? Science and nature don't care about your temporary social constructs, but you have fun with that. And it's like gender equality. You're a guy. You have equality. You mean my gender's equality? You're not part of this club. You never will be, ever. Again, let's test your blood and see what it say. I have a feeling that's probably about to be coming a lot of stuff. I don't even want to know where you from. I just need to see X or Y. So, yeah. Somebody said that I hate Trump. Like, I don't like Trump. I don't know this guy. But, his behavior from what I've seen is not the best. And I would be a Trumper if they weren't so unwashed and racist. I probably would be. Because when he was the president the first time, I think I've mentioned this before. The Califa media just leapt forward by leaps and bounds. He was very good if you were in business for yourself. He was excellent. And now it's happening again. And he's kicking people out the country. I have no problem with this. Absolutely. And he said, if you want a job helping, I got something for you. He said, you got my presidency to get rid of your student loans and to make sure that they can't be challenged. I'm firing the department that can challenge you. Yeah, I ain't got no problems with this dude. Oh, he little girl. He his own racist girls. I don't care. You need to take that up with your people. I'm not sure why I should care. All right. So I'm just glad he don't like sisters like that. Anyway, last one. I think this is the last one. And I'm gonna get into my the Solomon thing. Good. I'm gonna go through this one real quick. Cast them out. Senegal Edition. And more should take heart and have faith because we're next. Ready? So next one. Senegal expels the last French soldiers and ends 65-year military presence. Yeah, they got their independence 65 years ago, and the French just left. That's why I said have heart, because, yeah, it took forever, but hey, better late than never, right? Sooner would have been better, but, hey, it happened. So on July 17th, that was yesterday? Yeah, on July 17, 2025, France formally withdrew its final 350 troops and handed over Camp Gilel and an air facility in Dakar, concluding a 65-year, Franc-Afrique. That's what it says, Franc-Afrique. These creatures just be making stuff up. Franc-Afrique. Wow. That sounds like an album name, Franc-Afrique. Military footprint in Senegal. The handover, overseen by General Pascal Iani and Senegalese military leadership, was part of a phased withdrawal dating to March. Bassirou Diomaye Faye welcomed the transition, citing national sovereignty and a shift towards limited training and intelligence cooperation in place of permanent bases. Analysis say the move reflects growing African resistance to colonial era influence, Senegal being the sole democratically governed nation to press for a full military exit. They say that because of the European, they don't recognize these other nations where the people are like, we're cool with that guy who's in charge. Isn't that democratic? Yes, it's mob rule, but they said they want him. So, but you don't want him. And they didn't do it your way. So they're not democratic. All right. But whatever. What I'm seeing is yesterday, the last French army in Africa left. Last one was cast out. All right. I guess they weren't waiting for the invitation at gunpoint. That who was that? Guinea-Bissau? The one that they gave them. All right. Niger. Okay. All those people, they were like, yeah, we'll just leave. So to the main idea. Okay. Judgment of Solomon. And I bring this up. This goes back, I guess, to the cast them out and the DNA thing. Okay. Judgment of Solomon. Okay. I'm 30 minutes in. I'm going to try to make this quick. So last week, I was speaking about the 14th Amendment, or it might have been a couple of weeks ago, and how it was made for the descendants of African slaves. All right. And somebody put up, I knew the text, somebody put up in as a response the entire text of the 14th Amendment and said, where does it say anything about African slaves or anything like that? Like, you're absolutely right. Now, there's this thing with legislation. It's not just that piece of paper you see or the little blurb you see written. It's just like a newscast. The guy sitting up there reading off the newscast in 30 minutes, everything he's telling you probably took 3 days to produce by about 50 people. So you're not going to look at any of that to find the details that you missed, because you missed a lot. One of which, let's go back to the 14th Amendment, because folks like, it doesn't say anybody specifically. But if you look at the congressional record, which is easily accessed, because I just Googled it and it came right up. Like, actually, I asked ChatGPT, like, why is everybody saying it's for only, who is that? Black folks, if it doesn't say that specifically. It's like, well, this is easy. When it was being lobbied, petitioned, whatever, it was on behalf of the slaves that had just been freed. It couldn't be on behalf of anybody else because they weren't here. So the question is, how do you benefit from something that was passed when you weren't present? It has nothing to do with you. You weren't a consideration at the time of its passage. So when they say, oh, it was only meant for black folks, everybody here, was a citizen. The only ones who had that issue and that was passed for the people who were here. You came 50, 60, 100 years later, that ain't for you, sir, ma'am. So, but make no mistake, because I had to check myself when I read that, right? And this is how it relates to the wisdom of Solomon. Ready? So the Judgement of Solomon, that story, the story is funny. I actually have a storybook. What was it? It was 2 women from 2 despised nations of Israel. One of which, what was she? I want to say she was a Benjamite. That was the actual mother. And the woman who was trying to steal the baby was a Moabite. Not like, oh my God. I'm just saying, right? But whatever, this story was written by a Caucasian. And I'm like, I don't remember seeing this in the Bible. Oh, you're taking literary liberties with it. All right, cool. No problem. I just thought that was funny. So anyway, the story is the Judgment of Solomon. 2 women come before Solomon because they're fighting over a baby. Y'all know this story. And he's like, fine, you get 1/2. I'll cut the baby in half and y'all can each take a piece, right? And the woman who wasn't the mother was like, fine, I'm good with that deal. And the mother was like, nope, you can have it. I'll back off, right? So what does that relate to with the 14th Amendment, right? So the actual mother, was willing to let a wrong pass. She was willing to let that wrong actually stay there. But it resulted in the punishment of the liar and the attempted thief, right? And the woman who was wrong, she let this happen, even though she was taking the chance of giving up her birthright. Is her child her birthright? I have a right to this child because I gave birth to it. So she's trying to defend her birthright against this usurper and liar, right? So how does this relate to the Moors? So recent arguments over who benefits from the 14th Amendment. I just went into that. It's for former slaves. And if you actually read the text, and Moors have covered this a million times over, all right? Probably more than that. It's talking about all people born within the jurisdiction of the United States of America and are subject therein. I'm like, okay, you know what? You're right. The 14th Amendment is for anybody who wants it. I don't want it. Drew Ali Ben said, I don't need it. We don't need it, right? And I posted something today where he actually said, all men are created equal was in the Constitution already. We don't need a 14th Amendment, right? But I guess you would need something like that if you weren't here when that was passed. Yeah. I guess they weren't considering you because you had your own land to be up in. That kind of thing. So I argued that it was only for the slaves, despite the wording. And again, it said that it was for the slaves. You weren't the motivation, so what makes you think you're the beneficiary? Go ahead, because there's a prophecy that must be fulfilled, and I don't want my people to fulfill it. Somebody got to take this spot. There's a prophecy of Noble Drew Ali that said, I'm paraphrasing, one day all property is going to go back to the government. So again, it goes back to setting up your trust so you don't have nothing to take, right? So if you are born within the jurisdiction of the United States and are subject thereto, what does that make you, right? Either way, this is nothing for us to fight for. Let the foreigners have their designation of being subject to the jurisdiction. You came here to be free and now you're a subject. I love it. You're subject to the jurisdiction. So that made me think the United States is as fictional as the mandate of Hong Kong, right? So what happens when, just like with Hong Kong, when the mandate or the lease that gives you permission to do what you're doing expires? What happens to all the people that you invited as part of that lease? Like, okay, I'm using my daughter as an example. My daughter has an apartment, right? She lets her girlfriend move in with her. My daughter stops paying the lease and gets kicked out. What happens to her girlfriend? You may not like the answer, but you know the answer. Make a deal with the devil. Hey, you ain't got to honor it, but he gonna make sure you do. And that's all I got. 36 minutes. I hope y'all got something out of this. I'm gonna click this button. If you still there, I'm gonna let you come in. Who is this? Tim Murray. All right. If you still there, I'm gonna let you come in. All right. I'm gonna wait. I don't know what's gonna happen. He probably left by now. All right. But I'm done. All right. Islam. Nobody's there. All right, cool. So before he answers, I'm about to hop off because I'm ready to go. All right, Islam Wars, I'll see y'all next Friday. Actually, I'm going to try to see y'all next Friday. Because next Friday, am I going to be in New York? I'm going to be in Newark, right? Yeah, I'm coming with some protection too. So don't try nothing. Because like I said, supposedly I picked all the ghetto spots, and I'm not changing the itinerary. Again, because I want the sauciest, most flavorful experience. So, hopefully I'll be able to just broadcast from Newark or wherever we're going to be. But yeah, y'all can check us out, see everything that's going on califamedia.com and riseofthemoors.org/NYC. And with that, I will check y'all out this time again next Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. All right. And other than that, that's all I got. Peace and love. Happy Holy Day. And I'll check y'all then next time. Bye-bye. Y'all. Peace and love. That's what's up.